Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate Live. I'm your host Nathan Oakley, and if you're new to this channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. If you'd like to join the community debate, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate forum. If you'd like to support the channel, there is a super chat that runs alongside each of these shows while they are live. There's also a PayPal, Patreon and crypto link in the info box below the video. Most importantly, if you'd like to join the discussion, simply mute the page you are currently watching, then click the link in the info box below this video to join the panel and express your views on the shape of the Earth. If you do join, please don't swear. If you do, you'll be ejected, and if you are, please don't try to rejoin the stream using sock accounts. You'll be warmly welcomed back on the next stream. Please also share the show on social media. Sharing the show obviously increases the live audience, but this in turn increases the chances of a more diverse panel, so please share the show. And one last time, if you're new to the channel or you've not done so already, then be sure to subscribe and hit the bell notification icon to keep up to date with the Flat Earth Debate. Now, we are joined by Quantum Eraser, Try, Adam Meakin, Spurs Schemo, Sleeping Warrior, Physics Warrior, Paul, Nathan, and two people who've got their icons, Arwin and 10th Man. Very good to have you all.
Woo!
Good morning.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon. I
Hello.
can't find you. I can't find this live stream.
It's because it's on the second channel.
Sorry?
It's on the second channel. So on a Thursday, right, I broadcast on the second
Oh,
channel.
no.
Which one? Which one?
Hey, Arwen, get your abacus out. Get ready.
No, but I didn't get a notification. So which channel is that? Sorry.
Nathan Oakley. So if you're a keen fan, which
I went
Arwin
there.
clearly is not, then you would know that I've got a second channel, and on a Thursday, the first live show goes out on the main channel, the second goes out on the second channel, and it gets switched off when it finishes. So if you're watching this live right now, and there's nobody in the chat, it's great. Can't even shout out an example. Hopefully someone will stumble across
No,
the show.
look, it's not registering. It's not enough. I am subscribed and hit with the bell notification. See?
Right.
There is no video.
You didn't get the ticket.
Let's
You
have a
got to
look.
get the ticket first.
Well, if there's an issue, then there might not be a live show on the second channel, because I'm going to keep recording regardless. But let's have a look. Let's see what's going on.
I'm presenting it. So this is your channel through Arwin interface.
that
And
saves me doing it.
you see, no live playing here. No video live. Nope.
Interesting. Could be an OBS issue. It says I'm live though. It says on the on my live dashboard, you are live, and it's got a picture of the stream. It all looks like it's working to me.
Refresh, Arwen.
Refresh?
Yeah, just hit those. Well, that's,
Yeah, you're right. It's not in my subscription feed either.
there you go.
I think it's probably worth another start at the live show, even if it has clipped it. What do you reckon? Should we just try again? Talk amongst yourselves.
There it is. Is there live there?
Where?
Wait.
I'm being censored.
Oh my god. By region, probably.
I'm being segregated, I mean.
Just go to the main live page, can't I, from the watch page? Man, this is a terrible start to a live show. I'm glad that we've actually had a proper intro for the main channel for the people watching on Friday, because this is a bit of a shambles, really. If this is live, this is a joke, isn't it? View on watch page. There we go.
Man.
There it is. View on watch page. One watching. So nobody's watching.
Can you link the YouTube of the live video in the Google chat somehow?
Google Hangout, you mean?
Yeah, in the Hangout, in the panel chat.
All right, hang on for 1 second.
No, I think there's something awry. I'll just do another intro. So I'll press the stop button on the live stream. But let's see
Sorry
how
about
goes.
that, guys.
Well, if you are watching live, which it doesn't say anybody is, it says
Well, if
one
you are
watching
watching,
live,
although
which
there
it
is a
doesn't
live
say
stream.
anybody is. It
Oh,
says
if
one
you are
watching
watching,
live,
although
which
there
it
is a
doesn't
live
say
stream.
anybody is. It
Oh,
says
yeah.
one watching
Okay.
live.
Hey, watch pair guys. Okay. Hey, watch pair guys. Okay. Oh, God.
What's going on? Yeah, okay, everyone stop looking for the live page. Right, I'm going to be talk amongst yourselves. Don't ask me any more questions. I'll see if I can figure it out.
Good point.
Hey, John,
What?
when, just out of curiosity, when did the flat Earth come on your radar first?
When? Like what year?
Yeah, like how long have you? How long ago was it that it hit you that science, the pseudoscience that is, has lied to us?
Yeah, how'd
Oh,
you get
that was
introduced?
many years ago. But I wasn't a flat earther then.
Okay, so you saw some clues, but when did the flat Earth part come in and finish it out for you?
It was 2015. I can't remember. It was in May of some year. I know
What
that.
got you thinking about it?
Say again?
What got you thinking about it?
Someone challenged me because I used to battle brain dead evolutionists, and somebody challenged me in a forum, and they posted this question: how can you have a vacuum next to a pressurized system? That's all they had to say. I was a flat earther in less than a Planck time. It was less than a second. That's what did it for me.
Cool.
I was kicking myself for
But
years,
hold
not
on, John.
recognizing
Are you serious, or did you turn
it.
into a contained geocentrist? Because
Yeah, I
that's
am
also
serious.
one
That
of
was
the
the question.
conceptual ideas.
I am serious. That was the question that was put to me. It was somebody that was laying back and wait because I knew that I knew what I was talking about with the laws of thermodynamics. So I could just picture them waiting back in the background, right? Just waiting for their time because it was a pretty populated forum, and they were just by. I could see them waiting back there, uh, and I had no response. What response could I give them? I said, good on you later. And that
John,
was
just
it.
playing devil's advocate, why didn't you claim gravity?
Because he's not an idiot.
Yeah, but
You
that's
just
the natural reaction for an idiot, for a baller.
Yeah, but that assumption is also flawed, as I tried to explain using my understanding of the presuppositional cosmogony. Can't work. Doesn't
Well, what?
effectively work. It's a slow push. It can't oppose the
Well,
natural expansion tendency of gas.
I
Doesn't
agree.
work. Doesn't match up.
you could
Hey,
give them
John.
every force in the known universe, and they couldn't do gas pressure without a container.
Hey, John. I'm going to summarize what I think happened to you at that point. Tell me if you agree with it. You could not violate the law of non-contradiction when you saw it.
That's correct.
So
So
then
that
that,
indicts me on being indoctrinated because I was in this genre, not the flat earth, but battling these, I knew all the pseudosciences, evolutionary biology, paleontology, archaeology, anthropology, astrophysics, astronomy. I knew they were all pseudosciences. There were no doubt about it. I just didn't connect the dots because I was too much in the battle with evolutionists, right? So I didn't pay any attention. Of course, the flat Earth came up a few times. Oh, you're a Bible flat earther, and I just blew it off. I never thought about it, right? Because I was indoctrinated too, the same way. Only the indictment is more on me for not recognizing, from the beginning. So I don't like to talk about it because, I'm guilty.
you're
More
human.
so, more so than anyone else on this panel. More so than anyone I've ever met.
Nah, not more
So
so. We're all guilty of the same charge. We all were flat ball earthers at one point, right?
Not worse than Brenda.
yeah, but
No,
I knew better.
I think what John is saying is that he had so much understanding of real science that he felt more guilty because he should have caught it himself.
Exactly.
Well, what about the guys that are debating against us, claim to have a science acumen, and then rather than going, oh my God, we've had this conversation before, John, it's that in that moment you go, my God, how could I have been fooled? And the people who we debate against go, I must find an answer that conforms with the cult.
Yeah, brainwashing.
No, and
That's
it's
why I don't
pride.
get
We
Ruhif.
are alive, by the way.
That's why I
And
don't
it's-
get Ruhif.
uh,
Ruhif is
yeah.
not stupid. But he must be a cook.
yeah, it was a minor problem, but I fixed it. I didn't need to restart. It was broadcasting. It just hadn't seemed to have published it out there. So I've now fixed that problem with a few settings tweaks. So there won't be another intro. We are now live. There is an audience. Hello to
15,
Seek and Find
16.
and Steve and the people who will eventually join it now that it is being shown to a public audience.
Welcome to Flat Earth Debate.
Yeah, but as I say, this goes out to the main audience on Friday anyway. It means that, when I'm plugging stuff, I'm having to say things like Ballbusters is tomorrow, 2 p.m. Central, 8 p.m. UK, whereas it's Thursday when we're recording this. So the fact that it goes out to a limited audience is kind of the point anyway.
So you're broadcasting in the future.
Yeah, Nathan knows the future.
Sort of. Yeah, this will go out to the main people who watch this, because as I say, the live show gets turned off after. So when we finish this show and it goes into the after show, the people who watched it don't get to see it again. It just gets turned off. But then it goes out as a full uncut and after show on Nathan Oakley 1980, the main channel. So the majority of people won't have seen it already. Only the core fans who have subscribed to my second channel will have got to see it live, which is these people here. Bible literalist, Paula, dedicated super fan of the debates. She loves you guys. That's why she's here.
Can I just say as well, that little rule you've got, Nathan, kills it.
That what?
That rule that you have about Thursdays is horrendous. If there's a good show on the Thursday, I can't watch it back if I miss it.
Yeah, you ask me almost every other week. How do I get to see the show? It's a Thursday. It'll come out tomorrow.
Yeah, it's wank. That's no good for us.
Wank. It's not wank.
Well,
Wank.
We get
it's good
Ballbusters.
for Nathan because he gets his weekends.
No, I don't. It means I get to do Ballbusters. That's what it means. So I can't do. I've literally so limited time that you've got to sacrifice something if you're going to do something else. That's the bottom line. So if I want to do Ballbusters, I've got to like have a setup that allows me to still have a daily debate being broadcast. And for the most part, although it's still a live debate, it's gone out live. The majority of people who watch it are technically watching it for the first time as a re-up. Well, that's great because they haven't already seen it. They don't know what's going to get debated about. But the super fans, they tend to watch in the second show on the Nathan Oakley channel anyway, so they'll often watch it twice. I'm part of it and I watch it, so I like the show too. I watch in the Nathan Oakley channel. So if you're watching, this live, typically I'd be in this audience on the Nathan Oakley channel. I'd be chatting with the people in the live feed. They're all like my little compadres when I'm doing this and watching it after the fact. So I really like all the audience in the Nathan Oakley channel. Not that I'm, in any way putting down the main audience. Great, I want more subscribers. Obviously, I want to grow. Nearly at so close to 15k. I'll get there eventually, I'm sure.
Yeah, it's still wank.
Oh, God, it's not wank. This is ace.
John, that second letter is an A. It's not an E. It's wank, not wank.
Hey, can we circle the wagons back to what we were on? I thought it was really keen because
Definitely. Thank God you're here. Thank you, 10th man. Yes, please.
John gave his background as to how flat Earth affected him when he first saw it, and that he already knew there were pseudosciences in the so-called scientific community. And then when he saw it, one statement did it. You can't have gas pressure against a vacuum. When I saw it, I had a similar response. It wasn't that I needed to defend anything. It was new information that opened up new horizons of thought. So I didn't fight it. I just investigated it more. And if the rest of us in our panel go through it, maybe it's all similar for everyone here. I don't know until we hear everyone's testimony in a short version. But the Globers, if you contrast that with the Globers, and I have many friends who are Globers, they'll argue with me. And I say to them, look, how come I reacted this way and you're reacting this way? It's an interesting psychological point. If you
it
think
is. I'll be honest, it took me about 5-6 months before I would accept that there was a problem. I knew that there were arguments, but how much weight you put to it is unique to you. And some people put, I mean, for anybody that, for me personally, when John says that I knew it immediately, when I hear someone say that, I think, how could you know it immediately when it took me at least 5-6 months of researching everything before I realized that it was actually the way that they're saying it's not a
It's
ball.
based on IQ.
Yeah, hold on. I knew immediately. I recognised it immediately. As soon as I heard Math Powerland say those two words, I was like, oh shit, the Earth's flat. And it's because I'd already experienced it and seen it. I mean, I attribute it to being a rep and travelling all over the world. You know, I'd seen the flat plane so many times and had those questions going through my head. I wish I could get higher. I wish I could see the curve, because look how flat it is. I just didn't put 2 and 2 together until I heard Math Powerland say it. And then I went and woke my wife up in an instant. I was like, yeah, it's flat!
Which 2 words? Flat Earth?
Yeah, basically. And in that instant,
No,
I went and
a lot
woke, in
longer
the
than
middle of
that.
the night, you know, watching a bit of YouTube, Math Powerland comes on. I hear him say that, and I went and woke my wife up in an instant, shook her in bed, and said, I pointed at the window, I went, it's flat, the Earth's flat.
Hey, Nathan, when I first heard it and saw it the way you're expressing it, it took me to my memories of 9th grade biology class when I told the teacher, but I don't feel it spinning. And that argument never got answered back then because, you know, I'm a kid. And when I saw it, I said, oh my gosh, I've known it all the time.
Memory
I got to admit, kind of like John, I dismissed it because I think a lot of it depends on who you hear it from, guys. Because if you just hear it from some random person on the internet, that's why they think we're all just crazy flat earthers. But B.O.B. said it was flat, and I thought, what kind of weed are these rappers smoking these days? And then the person who actually told me to investigate it, and I did, was a guy I was researching applied neuroscience with and biochemistry and steroidogenic and epigenetics, and the guy is brilliant. And I said, how long you been looking into this? And he said 7 months, and I about dropped the phone because we talked every day, and he didn't tell me the earth was flat for 7 months because he was looking into it. And so I think if people had someone that was credible tell them, they'd be more open and wouldn't have that pre-programmed Pavlovian response.
Well, that's the way we've been trained, to appeal to authority. So when your best friend tells you, well, you're not authority over me.
Nathan, I know you just answered this, but what was the moment when the penny dropped for you? What was that moment again?
When I was watching a Math Powerland video.
Yeah, the 2 words he said was what?
Flat Earth.
There must have been a reason, though. It couldn't have just been that.
Yeah, I had like when people describe the world flashing before their eyes before they die. Similar sort of thing. So what flashed through my mind was seeing it, seeing how flat it was. So I've told this story loads of times. So when I was a rep, I'd go to the back of the plane where you could look out the emergency window with a much wider angle. So in your seat, you can't move back and forth and look through the window. You're trapped. Whereas if you stand up, you can. And that's what I did for the majority of most of the flights. Looked out the window. Now everyone else has got their headphones and they're looking at the crappy screen on the back of the chair in front, getting drinks, getting drunk. That's what people do on flights. Close the window, draw the curtains, turn the light off, try and get drunk and get to sleep or watch a movie. That's what they all do. Me, I was interested in seeing what was out the window. And it was breathtaking most of the time. Yeah, obviously there's some pretty crap views out of plane windows, but let's put that aside. And as I said, what I would think about when I was looking was, I wish I could get higher. I wish I could see the curve. And the reason I'm putting it in that phraseology is because what I'm actually looking at is how flat it is. And knowing the rhetoric of NASA, that you can't see curve from a plane. I knew that. So while I'm looking out, I was thinking, I wish I could, because look how flat it is. So when I hear it in that context, not being ridiculed by Math Powerland, I mean, it wasn't as simple as me literally hearing those 2 words and jumping up out the seat and saying Eureka. You know, it was on in the background or whatever. It's being played on an autoplay. I can't remember. I can't even remember which video it is. I've been put to task on that, which Math Powerland video it was. And I'm like, I don't know. What I do know is I heard it and then went, holy shit. And immediately when I woke my wife up. So yeah, it's the things that you've already, or I had already experienced in being a rep and traveling all over the world that made me go, yeah, absolutely without question. It all makes sense now. And we talked about the bucket earlier when I was very young, probably sub 10 years old. I remember being told about gravity, going home, spinning a bucket around and going, well, what's stopping it all flying off? It doesn't make any sense at all. But you put it to the back of your mind, like so many things. And then when someone like Math Powerland comes along, you go, yeah, it all clicks. Suddenly it makes sense. The Earth is obviously and observably flat.
Do you know what? I want to make a guilty confession. And I've never admitted this publicly online before. This is like the first time ever on publicly. Some people know it privately, but most people don't know this.
53 watching. You normally go, we'll just wait to make my big announcement till there's hundreds watching. Because of a cock-up in the publication of this live stream. Probably the smallest live audience you'll ever make this announcement to. But go ahead, Anthony.
You're not gonna.
No. This is a genuine. This is a genuine admission. It's like I never admit this publicly, but this is literally a premiere for me. I mean, I think I came to this in 2016, late 16, or it might have been 15. I can't remember exactly, but I've been here a while. I think it was late 16, early 17. And of all the people that I've wanted to comment on one of my videos just once, Mark Sargent's never commented on any of my videos. But I see him on everybody else's, and it's like, what the fuck, man? I've not made it yet. Come on, Mark Sargent, give me a comment.
I'll speak to Dearth, and he'll get that sorted out for you.
No, it's not going to work now. I've spoiled it by telling everybody that there's
yes,
a secret
yes,
fantasy.
you have, Riley.
Spoiled it. So, Mark Sargent, if you're listening, just let yourself know that you've failed in your obligation as a flat earther with me.
Hey, Nathan, I think your epiphany is one of the reasons that my favorite place to flat smack people is on an airplane, because 2 reasons. You don't get a more captive audience than people who are stuck in a metal fuselage. 30,
they can't escape.
They can't run away from you. And the second thing,
yeah.
Look out the window. So what you did mentally in your head when someone told you it's flat, they can do physically at that moment. And I think it's the best place to share flat earth. I'll make announcements at the beginning of the plane that the earth is flat. And if anyone has questions, let me know. Just to make it awkward, because why not, you know?
Wow, I did not know that about you, Nathan. That's awesome. So obviously the cringe factor's high, but you can tolerate it and you're like, yeah, I don't care. Somebody will come up and ask a question.
Well, I've handed the Edward Hendry book, chapter 5, Airplanes Fly Level, to a flight stewardess, and she comes back 10 minutes later and goes, can I keep this for a few minutes? And I'm like, yeah, why? What are you going to do? And she goes, I want to show all the other flight attendants. And every single person on the plane read chapter 5 of Edward Hendry's book, and they were all like, wow, I never thought about that. That's really cool.
That's ace. I love that. I've never really had the balls to do it. I've got to be honest. You know, the activism part is definitely not something I've participated in very much.
And I've done it 10,000 times to their face, bro. They have nothing. There's nothing funnier than watching them trying to mumble out their religion if face to face. It's totally different than the debate live, which I love, but it's more fun in person. That's why I also record it too, because I think the reactions are so funny. Other people need to see them. Like I had a Texas A&M student, a physics major, tell me, oh, we proved the Earth's a globe. And I was like, okay, well, tell me what you did. We took 3 equidistant buildings and then we got on Google Earth. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? You're paying $50,000 a year at Texas A&M to go on Google Earth and do science? Are you joking?
What did they claim to do on Google Earth? Because in our experience, Google Earth showing it flat. The elevations don't change.
Nathan, do you know what? When I went down to Central Park and Hyde Park with Roxanne at Christmas, I was thinking, if Nathan was here right now, he'd be loving this. Because the thing is, like on the debates, right, you can get ballers that come in with evidence beforehand. In real world, you just get the average Joe public that doesn't know anything about anything, and you can flat smack them dead easily, and they never come back with anything credible, but they always try, and you just kill them. You just literally sit there. It's like a lollipop. You just snap the top off before you don't suck it dry. You snap the top off and ruin it. It's like that every single time, and I just thought Nathan would love this.
Yeah, I want to get out there, bro. I mean, I just don't have the funds, but I love all you guys, dude. I think you're all A-team flat earthers. And I can't wait to get out there, just so you guys know. But yeah,
no, I actually met Nathan Oakley on that occasion because Nathan's not done activism, but we should do it.
Equally valid though. Equally valid for both Nathans in context, whichever way you want to take it.
Yeah.
Hey, you
You
know
should do
what?
it, Nathan.
Both Nathans, this works for you. So Nathan on ground level and Nathan at 30,000 feet speaks the plain truth.
Love it.
I don't know how much more evidence these morons need to realize that they've not got the proof that they require to prove that we live on a sphere, but they're all in denial. Don't take my ball away. It's like, come on, guys.
Yeah, I tried to debate a NASA employee who'd been with NASA for 30 years, and this video's got over 100,000 views on my channel. Go check it out. But he ends up 5 minutes into the conversation going, "Oh, I'm being recorded. Oh, I don't want to be recorded." And I'm like, "You're joking, right? I had my arm extended the entire time I'm talking to you with a phone in my hand, and you couldn't tell I was recording." And then his son walks up, and I educate his son for a half hour on flat Earth while he just sat there playing on his phone. I couldn't believe it. He just let his
Nathan
son
Thompson,
sit there.
do you have a tactic or a strategy against Mick West?
Well, I don't know. I'm still kind of playing it by. I'm going to develop it. I haven't developed it yet, but I mean, my strategy is just stick to the scientific method.
Yeah.
So, and then go through all the ways that we can see too far, and water's a natural level, and there's no proof Earth's rotating at all. Period. So
Just ask him, why does 76R conflict with Fermat's principle on the trajectory of light in that it travels in straight lines and deviates from straight in all directions? That's literally what kills his 76R. Once you kill 76R, he's dead.
Hey, Anthony, and on the last thread of conversation about why people argue for ball or flat Earth side, I'd like to dig a little deeper and get your viewpoint on this. When John said he had the turning moment with the gas pressure next to a vacuum, and when I saw it, it took me back to my biology class. Why? The way we're made, our minds like reason, we like order, and we can spot disorder. So it's hard for me to believe something like Narnia when it doesn't exist in reality. So when I saw this, the reasoning factor made sense. So why is it that the ballers don't use their mind to reason with reality, but they
but
use
there's a
their
difference.
minds?
Yeah, but hang on. There's a difference between reason and evidence or proof. Tim Osmond pleads logic and reason for the evidence, right? And I remember the first time I said, no, that's not enough. And he was like, what do you mean? I was like, that's not enough. Logic and reason is not enough. You want proof. And I remember him
Someone's causing
reacting
a lot
as
of
though I
background
just
noise.
like chopped his head off.
Sorry, second, Anthony. If you're not talking, you should pop yourselves on mute. There's quite a lot of background noise.
Yeah, it's Nathan Thompson.
No, he's on mute.
Okay.
I'm on mute. What are you guys saying? I'm doing something? What's up?
You're not.
Noise, background noise.
It wasn't him. He was on
How
mute.
do you guys make car noise when I'm on mute? I'm sorry, that just doesn't make any sense to me.
No, it's me. It's the mole guys, landscapers.
So Anthony, let me dovetail on your point.
Just before you do,
Logic
10th man,
and-
sorry. I don't know if Physics Warrior had his mic open because he actually wanted to add something. Did you want to add something, Physics Warrior?
No, I thought it was the noise, so I'm muting myself. I left
Naughty.
my mic
Go on mute then, Physics.
Naughty. Now you do get told off. Hey, right the hand. How you doing?
Yeah, that's funny that I heard him say that, but you thought he was asking a question, so there's a delay.
So come on, back to logic and reason and Tim.
Yeah, so logic and reason is based on evidence and proof. So for example,
No, it's not. No, it's not. It's not.
No, I know they don't do it, but let me finish my thought here. So Nathan says the Earth is obviously and observably flat. So that's his 5 senses telling him this. And then it goes to his mind. And when it goes to his mind, he has to reason and use logic and not fall in for the law of non-contradiction, or else anything could happen. So then when the two meet, oh, you know what? This supports this, or this validates this, or this invalidates that. He's actually using it in the proper way. Whereas the ballers, their experience is on the flat Earth surface, but they're denying it and going and hijacking logic and reason and making up a narrative that can't be proven. It's a whole...
inferring causation. That's the biggest problem. Inferring causation.
But why? My question is this: if you want to say what makes a person a flat earther and a person a bald defender, when we all were there to a point. Why was it so easy for us to see
The
it?
answer is it's a comfort blanket to believe we're on a ball. You don't want to walk into the unknown. Most people do not want to go to where they don't know they're comfortable with. If you don't know that you're comfortable with that, you're not going to go there. If you realize that, hang on a minute, this is fundamentally wrong on every level, then you want to go there. And that's my position. I'm like, hang on a sec. I realize that what we're living on, I don't know what it is. I don't necessarily think it's flat. I think it might be something else. It could be bigger. It could be asteroid shaped. I don't know. There could be more
It's
land.
not.
There
It's
could be-
not. You do know. I already proved it. I mean, we're back to this again, right? So
Proved it.
under this
Oh,
video,
hold on.
right,
Hold
Anthony?
on, John. Don't shoot yourself in the foot now.
Under this video, I don't need your advice, Arwen. Underneath this video,
You can't
look
prove
for
the Earth
flat
is flat.
I'm not talking to you, Arwen. Underneath this video, there are.
It's your
It
independent
says
variable,
flat Earth
John.
proof. Shut
Arwen, shush.
up! My word. Underneath this video, Anthony, it has flat Earth proofs, right? Now go through them and try to debunk them. If you cannot debunk them, then logic and reason leads to a flat, non-spinning, dumb, geocentric Earth. Thank you.
I don't disagree with that, but I prefer to go with proof. And I realize that there is no proof because there is no science for a flat Earth, right?
Yes, there is
I
proof.
accept that there is.
It just said.
Oh
it
my
just said-
God.
there's a link in the video. The title being "Flat Earth Proof." Now, it's not one of those titles where you dispense with the unfortunate business that you don't have what's in the title. It does actually have flat Earth proof in the video.
I'm still
Yeah, but
interested.
do you know what though? Do you not think that there's a valid position, which is like, I mean, I'm sure we all sit on this panel and think, I actually don't want to be a flat earther. What's the benefit?
I don't think that at all.
I don't think that at all.
Not at all.
I don't think that at all.
While you're... Sorry, you go first, John.
Let me take a hard ball at this on the panel.
Sorry, I'm eating breakfast, man. I don't think
There
that
it is.
at all.
Go on, physics. Go on.
I do.
Hang on.
Yeah, I made a video saying I don't want to be a flat earther because like it comes with so much ostracism and ridicule.
Yeah, I agree.
Unless it's the truth and you're standing up for the truth, then I don't want to be a flat earther. But since it's the truth,
I completely agree.
Yeah.
Well, I want to say to everybody, I'm stuck on the ball. And as far as what the ball has told me and what I have in my pocket is I have a ball. And what I could address to the panel, it's a ball dicker. And I'm struggling with this ball. It's on my back and I carry it. I wake up and it's there. I throw it out the house. When I wake up the next day, it's still stuck in my ankle. So I'm struggling with the baller.
See, for me personally, I get a lot of hate from the ballers. I really want to be a baller. I do. It's a lot easier. I don't enjoy being a flat earther. And the biggest problem with flat Earth is flat Earth.
Well, go ahead and be a baller.
I don't
What?
know
What's
this makes
the
any
problem?
Go
sense
ahead
to
and
me.
be a baller and then come
Oh,
on.
You got a problem with the world, Riley?
You're describing
flat
flat
earthers
Earth.
are the worst than ballers for me.
You view flat Earth
What?
as a social thing,
thanks.
as
Thanks
a
for
social
that.
entity, right? The fact that the ground we dwell atop is flat has nothing to do with people or animals or any of that stuff. It's almost completely irrelevant. Now, in so discovering, what are you actually finding out? Because you've always been on a flat plane. Whether you realised it or not is irrelevant. What's the bit that's depressing, if you like, is that you suddenly figure out that your belief in a sphere was there through brainwashing. And as you look around you, you realise or appreciate that everyone around you is brainwashed. Well, that might be depressing if you focus on that. Well, just run out of the asylum and go, wow, look how wonderful the world is. So for me, it's the total opposite of how you guys feel about it. I don't think, oh no, I might be attacked by ballers, or oh no, the people around me are brainwashed. I go, wow, there's so many questions that are left unanswered. And then you're left with a childlike wonder that's absolutely exhilarating. I think it's fantastic.
I gotta agree with Nathan here. I feel like ever since I came to Flat Earth, like two huge things. First, I stopped working a 9 to 5 because I just figured out It was so like the 9 to 5 is connected to NASA, to the government, to enslavement. Like it all just clicked. And I was like, I have to get out of this. Right. So you get out. And then on the second part is when you have the truth, like I feel like I walk around with a cloak of invulnerability. Like they can call me a stupid flat earther. They can make fun of me all they want. And I just go, okay, you think you're on a rock floating in nothing. Yeah. Your opinion means nothing to me. You are clearly lost. So I don't care. So yeah, I love it. I think it's like the greatest thing because it's so tangibly on our side that they have nothing. They think mass floats. They think water sticks to a ball. They think a vacuum can surround air pressure. And then you just point out scientifically how air pressure can't do that, how water can't do this, how mass can't float, and they're left with nothing.
Yeah, but don't you think? Is there anyone that disagrees with me that it's on the flat Earth side? The biggest problem within flat Earth is flat Earth itself. I mean, the ballers, we can kill ballers daily, right? That's why Nathan's show's here. I agree with Del when he says there is no debate, right? So why does Nathan's show exist? Well, the answer is because there's so many people that want to know about what's going on that are new to it. That's why it's here. It's not that there's a debate. It's that there's new audiences every single day. However, flat earthers are the worst people. Not all of them, but most of them are so divisive that they can't accept that there is something called diversity. We don't have to agree with each other.
Baloney.
Totally
We're
disagree.
after truth
I
here.
totally disagree. There are
We're
some
after truth
divisive people, okay, that just happen to be on flat Earth. But
hold on, John. Go ahead, Darwin.
I totally disagree. I think that yes, I think there are some very persistent, divisive people out there that just do this strategically.
Yeah, they're the ones I'm on about.
Yeah, but that's just a few in relation to just the vast majority of just normal, decent people and enthusiastic, decent activists and everything.
Yeah, but those few within flat Earth cause more damage than any rumpus or any.
Yeah, but that's in any society. That's in regular society as well. And the dark ones always stand out more and ruin it for the rest. That's what makes them what they are. But
I don't think the damage.
I don't think they're the majority at all.
I don't think the damage they can do will ever contrast the truth, the flat Earth truth, what it has done. Like you can get some bad flat earthers. Okay, you're not changing that the Earth is flat, and like that's not gonna. There's nothing that can affect that.
Hey, after John says what he wants to say, I'd like to chime in.
John?
John's obviously not here.
Oh, okay. Well, he was trying to say something, but I think it was the same thing I was going to say.
Yeah,
when you have... Let
me say I interrupted him.
Hold on. Go ahead, 10th man.
When you have a truth, and I'm not going to specify what category, but just truth, you're solid. And then you meet up with everyone, you love and some strangers along the way, and they want to challenge it. You're ready because you believe and you have validation for your stance on that truth. So you want that confrontation because you're ready for it, because you actually stand on truth and you're ready to do battle. So truth gives you that boldness. And so it's not afraid of confrontation. It's not afraid of doubt. It's not afraid of anything. You want your truth to be challenged, and it comes up on top every time. It makes you even stronger. So when you know something is true, you invite all naysayers. It doesn't matter, because really what you want is not to be deceived or fooled, because if you really didn't have the truth, you're going to thank the person who helped you get out of the lie.
But on the other hand, look how many good people in flat Earth get stamped on by bad people in flat Earth.
Right.
Okay, but what you're discussing...
I want to put my 2 penny worth in now. I'm sorry to interrupt. Right. You're just talking about people. People this and you and how you feel and how they feel and what they respond to. And look at the picture on screen, right? That's just the nature of reality. A flat world. Yeah, it's got a mountain in it. Nevertheless, we live on a flat plane. Has that got anything to do with our social interactions? No. The only reason it's even relevant is because we've got a lie that's come from people. So the lie is the only bit that's relevant. The nature of the actual reality has sod all to do with flat Earth's not causing people to argue. You know, that's nonsense. The reification of a globe model, that's what's the problem. Now, for me, I can step away from that. It's only when you have that issue of the reification of a globe model and people who have that fundy zealot outlook that you end up with any issues. Generally speaking, most people just go about their lives and don't actually pay that much interest in the reification that is the globe model. Yeah, at a deep level they understand it. They've been brainwashed with it since birth. But ultimately speaking, they still walk around a flat plane. It's not causing any problems for them. And if they find out they've been lied to by people about the heliocentric reification model, then they may actually end up with an issue with you, the messenger, like we had an issue with Nathan when he came along and told us that apparently Globebusters have got an experiment.
So back to what I was saying, Anthony. Thank you, Nathan. That's a good clarification as well. Is once you have something and you see loved ones and others around you are deceived, like from where you came from before you had that truth, you're compelled to go share it with them. And then in sharing with them, you're going to have collateral damage and you're going to be able to get some people to actually look into it. This is just life. It's no different.
Well, if I ever leave flat Earth, it won't be because of the ballers, it'll be because of flat Earthers. We have a common goal. Why is there not a common goal prevalent? There isn't.
Well, let me give you an example from my Christian belief. I see stupid Christians who don't verse or reference the Bible for anything they say. They just make it up. So then when I meet them, I say, hey, do you mind showing me that scripture, please? And they can't. And I said, then why are you spreading such nonsense? So now let's go back to flat Earth. Here's a show, Nathan Oakley show, that is so stringent and so narrow on definitions, which is so important to me, that even flat earthers here get schooled, which is great. Because we're trying. So that's the beauty of it. So it doesn't change the truth of the flat earth. It just means that other flat earthers haven't come along in their education of realizing what the law of non-contradiction is, what gas pressure without a container is. Once this makes sense, their formulas will change and their language will change. It takes time.
You're not speaking Anthony's language. Anthony is telling you that the one of the most important parts of what he thinks flat Earth is the social aspect. So what you're telling him isn't impacting him. Do you follow?
Yeah, I could tell it was from the social aspect.
No, it's not really the social aspect. It's the acceptance that we're not on a sphere that should unite us all, regardless of age, sex, gender, prior like bias. It's clearly not there on the flat Earth side, and I have to wonder
every one
why.
on that list was
It's not there. It's not there on many other sides.
Hold on. Everyone on that list was a social construct, Anthony.
What do you mean?
List it again. List all the things you just described.
Regardless of age, race, sex.
These are all social constructs, aren't they? Social. Describing attributes of people. Anthony.
You're right. It doesn't make it any better though that we should. Why are we all fraction? Like, why is it fractional for us?
Because the end doesn't justify the means. That's why. Because the end, excuse me, 10th man. Because the end doesn't justify the means. That's why.
This concept came to me through an algorithm, Anthony. If flat Earth didn't come to my concept and I was on the ball, then I have good reasons based on my with all the equipment that I'm learning is a way how can I disapprove the ball, and that would have been just easier. However, for now there is a flat Earth concept, so now it's not the ball, and that's what makes it a little bit more interesting because it is a dichotomy that we are actually in. So now that's where the conversations and arguments that gets to be a bit complex. This is where we're at this moment.
Do you know what? Hold on. Speak for yourself. It might be a dichotomy you are in, but for me, it's a false dichotomy.
Correct. we can accept that.
One of the reasons I like sharing it with people so much is it's a good IQ test, like to figure out if there's anybody home upstairs that can think. But it's also a good test of the heart. Like, even if this person disagrees with me, are they going to start foaming at the mouth like a rabid dog, or are they going to be just going to have a disagreement?
No, they start rabid foaming. Let's say hello to our two new guests. So welcome back, Adam, and hello, Paula.
Hello.
Hello, good to have you.
Hey, Paula.
I just had to jump on because of the topic. It's something that I've been making an occasional rant about for almost 4 years. I mean, the social aspect, it doesn't matter what the topic is or what people are meeting for. It's a people problem, like you guys have been saying. It's a social problem, and it's, as 10th Man brought up, it's in Christianity, it's the same thing. We've got a gazillion denominations. We've got, people making videos against, Christians against Christians all the time. And I hate that. But also, as 10th Man said, truth matters, and it's going to divide people, and personal prejudices are going to get in the way, and cultural differences, language, all those things are going to get in the way. It's just part of any group of people. You can't avoid it.
To touch on that, I want to say, as a Christian, I don't think you can compare the diversity of Christianity to flat Earth, because in flat Earth, everything is so tangible. Okay, like rocks don't float in a vacuum. So the moon, it's not a rock floating in a vacuum. Okay, so it's a done deal. We don't need to go any further. So we can all agree that the moon's not a rock. Okay, so, and then when you get to the water, and then so the water there are things we can agree on that they're if you're arguing it, you're just arguing against the truth and reality, whereas like other things can be intangible and we can't perfectly define them like we can how objects behave.
Yeah, well said.
Well, I think what Paula is saying is on the human side. The human fallen nature side. She wasn't talking about the absolute truth in any way has any variation. For example, an event cannot precede a cause. The antecedent of an event is a cause. And when you look at what you were just saying about life itself, the order in the universe, so to speak, the cosmos, which means order, it's not chaos. And since every life form, every cell has information, we could already, through the law of logic and the chief law of non-contradiction, say, okay, the cause must have all this information for the event to be what it is. So the cause is conscious. Now, everyone knows that, but they still deny it.
Yeah, and the problem also is that people aren't consistent. And that's human nature, because we can all, whether it's flat Earth or Christianity or, whatever it is, say, okay, if you believe this as a foundational unifying thing, that's what our group is about, then certain other things flow from that logically. But people go through life believing contradictory things. That's just how they are. So you have to have some understanding, it, if not always tolerance, but understanding that people are not always going to draw rational conclusions from the thing that you all agree is true. So you're going to have differences anyway, even if it's certain things are very logical. It doesn't matter when you're talking about social constructs, because people aren't consistent with that. They're not necessarily following through on their core beliefs.
Yeah, I always say the only barrier from the truth is the preconceived notion that you already have it.
Right.
Well, this is why I like to study philosophers of old, because they were always thumping one another. Oh, you think you had it right? I'm going to prove you wrong. So, the sophists were coming in through Gorgias, Pythagoras, and Thrasymachus, and it just woke up Socrates to say, no, there is reality. So Socrates got woke up by those other philosophers with their philosophy, and he was going to prove them wrong. Well, then you have Plato and Aristotle, and they're all saying there is reality. Of course, they define it differently than the biblical version. But when I studied them, I could see the search started back then. I mean, these people are arguing the same points we're arguing today. So I get a lot of information from them. But they all have to base it on reality. Like the idea of a unicorn is not illogical, except for the fact that it doesn't exist in reality. Then it becomes illogical because it must be based on reality. And this is why Flat Earth is winning, because it's based in reality.
And I
Well,
think
let's
the
get
ultimate
Anthony's take.
standard.
Anthony
I was
was
just
the
gonna
one that
say-
was talking about this. Let's get his take on this whole thing.
There, Anthony.
Sorry, I missed my name. What was the question?
So we've been we've been
That is so like you.
What was the question? I missed the question.
It's about the subject that you controversially started this discussion with, about the social aspects.
Anthony, if you had a flat Earth
Don't worry
girl,
about
would
it.
that give you
It's-
proof that you're on a flat Earth?
To be honest, it confuses me how the politics works within Flat Earth more than it confuses me how the ballers cannot accept the reality in which we clearly live in. I don't get the politics in Flat Earth. It's crazy.
A bunch of
Well,
individuals.
That's a social aspect, right? Politics.
It is a social aspect. You're right.
Okay,
It's
I'm not
social
dogging
anarchy,
you out, Anthony. I'm just wanted to bring this to the fore. So, I mean, you had Adam come back in, Bad Christian came back in, or came in to talk about this issue, and we were talking about it. And what were you playing?
What was the? I you took the words out of my
What's
mouth.
Sorry, was that me?
This got to be an inside joke. Clarify.
I don't know. I'm responding to an email. Sorry, John. Say that again, John.
No problem. It's no problem, Anthony. I mean, I could see where you're coming from. There is the social aspect. I'm not attuned to that for all the reasons that were mentioned here, but I get it.
Maybe you're taking things a little bit too complicated. I just go things really simple. I expect people to misbehave, and I just try to correct and damage control. And I expect people to change constantly because a lot of people on the scene go through a lot of personal, emotional turmoil. So I am not. This is not like paying attention to the noble court, you know, like, ooh, what is this person exactly supposed to do? No, I don't approach it in detail. Everybody's dynamic to me here. So I just go with whatever the frequency that is coming to me.
I think
I've got a lot of.
What the heck was that?
It's Paul. I've got a lot of background noise. I'll try to say something if I can, but you can hear me.
Paul has a pile of children behind him.
We can hear you.
Yeah, can you hear me at all?
Yeah, we hear you.
Okay, real quick, I'll try to say it. I think the problem here too, I think part of it is along, I think the whole, across the spectrum, it's what are your priorities? Like one of the things I've said, I said it before, if your priority isn't truth, but if your priority is something else, you know, then I think that's going to be one of the key factors. Because if I'm seeking the truth, knowing that I'm sometimes going to be wrong, then I'm willing to listen or to what somebody's saying. Because if my priority is truth, but I don't think everybody's priority is the same, and I think that's where some of the disconnect comes in within the flat Earth. Is what are their true priorities? You know, because I mean, what if we're wrong about flat Earth? I'm not saying we're wrong, but what if we are? But if it's the truth, then we need to be seeking that truth.
Hey, Anthony. My take on it is that there's no isms for flat Earth. I have the same view. I have the same view on the so-called religions of the world. Everyone will experience and know the Earth is flat. You don't need a central speaking agent like NASA for the globe or something like that. It's not an ism. It's the truth, and everyone will share their version of it in a way. Then if they happen to stumble across the Nathan Oakley channel and realize that we're on the nearing 900 some show or something, and if they have gone back to the 333rd show, as John said today. Oh, that argument happened then. They have a lot of catch up to do to get to the level of understanding that the scrutiny of this channel puts on even flat earthers to describe things properly, not to say science is bad, but to say pseudoscience is bad. I have learned so much just from the self-correcting nature of all of us seeking the truth here. So I think there will never be an ism, but you will be able to construct sentences to establish what you're trying to say better and better as we develop our language. So, but the reality doesn't change. The earth is flat.
Okay.
I'm sorry, just real quick. It's loud, I know. I was also thinking too. Remember we talked about this a few episodes ago about why people lie. I mean, that's a determining factor in all this too. I mean, just why will people acknowledge or accept the truth or anything along those lines as well? That's all I was going to say. Go ahead, Betty. Go ahead, Paula.
That's just an argument from personal incredulity. They can't believe that people would lie or figure out in their mind that people only lie for 3 reasons: money, power, and sex. So it's got to be one of those, or all 3, or 2 of them.
Yeah, as soon as you get into motives, you're in really shaky ground because people wrongly assume that all the time. But I was just going to say that one thing I've tried to do, all these years, I've got like over 600 posts on my blog and over 400 videos on my website. But when people go searching for something, if they're just beginning, whether it's Christianity or Earthshape or whatever, they need a guiding hand. They need to know where the starting blocks are, and they don't want to come in the middle of it. So what I did, and some friends of mine on our Bible study Discord for the Christian stuff, is set up a website that is a self-guided tour, basically. Here, start here. Here's the basics. Here's the definitions. And then if you want more, here's a path you can take. Not to say it's the only way, but it's a way. And it's easy to find and it's easy to follow without having to talk to somebody. So something like that in Flat Earth, I think, is lacking, although there are individuals who have tried to set those up, but collectively we don't have that. Taboo Conspiracy was kind of my go-to link when I wanted, when I ran into somebody to say, here's a good place to start. They have a whole list of things. It's all in order. It's cataloged. And then the site went down, and I've been trying to talk to him to say, look, cost shouldn't be a factor because it's a factor for him right now. And there's been several of us saying, look, we can host your site. We can, write your software if we have to. And, for whatever reason, he's busy and can't deal with that right now. But Flat Earth should have something that isn't Flat Earth Society that people, that comes up first in the search engine, that is a self-guided tour, basically, because there's information scattered all over the place. So that would just be a suggestion.
Yeah, we're talking about that offline, that subject about consolidating some stuff. More to come on that in the future.
I feel like our consolidation is the scientific method. Like whenever there's a question on anything, just put it through the method. If it fails, throw it out. If it passes, continue on. And that's just what I've been, that we have it. That's it.
Yeah, I've got to be a bit critical of that. There's plenty of questions that fall outside of cause and effect relationships that can't be answered by the scientific method. And there are various other methods of inquiry and equally valid. The reason that scientific method is so prevalent on this show and others as a result, and I am going to take credit for it, or give credit to John, there you go, I want to remove myself from it. The reason it's so prevalent is because the people we debate with, claim science. So when it is asserted that science says that Jupiter is a gas in a vacuum, then they are basically claiming science to lend weight to their assertions, when they are in fact only adhering to step 1 of the scientific method, observe a phenomena. Now, if they're only adhering to step 1, it's pretty clear if you disclose that they haven't got a definitive answer to give. They've only got their just so stories. So therefore, they have to do various other things in terms of greasing the skids to make their stories easily disposed of if something else comes along that betters their current just so story. So on the one hand, this is something else John and I were discussing last night. They decry science like Ruhiv did yesterday, say it doesn't prove things. Yeah, because they need to be in a position where they can let go of whatever their just so story is when they've declared science. Now, in reality, science is a method that you can put on paper really quickly, as a lot of people have seen on the show with John's presentation, where he says, right, observe phenomena, please. What's your hypothesis, please? You know, that's all you've got to do. And you very quickly find that the claims of science fall flat on their face. They're not actually giving you any empiricism. They're just claiming it to grease the skids of their just so story. So that's why science is so prevalent. But to just say, well, everything must be put through the scientific method, well, no, unfortunately not. It's very, very narrow. It's dealing with cause and effect relationships in the physical and natural world. Now, that's very narrow. There's nothing wrong with the fact that it's narrow. That's why it's so good. It's empirical because of the way it's formatted with a null. So you've got this method that can be applied to certain situations. Now, coincidentally, a lot of the assertions they make in the first instance are cause and effect relationships. So why does the boat go over the horizon? Cause Earth curve gets in the way. So they've got something that can be asserted as science by them when they're not actually adhering to any method. They do have a cause and effect relationship that they're asserting. So as soon as you challenge them to put it through the scientific method, they fail. But that doesn't mean that we have to be so bold as to say everything must go through the scientific method. No. That's wonky logic. I'm sorry.
I just meant before I won't proclaim anything as being proven unless it can be empirically repeated and demonstrated. So, like, yes, I have theories about things, but I will claim them as theories and just ideas.
See, you watch that. See, that's where the problem comes in. You're using words, the theory word, right? There's a big difference between a colloquial theory and a scientific theory, right? So you got to be careful. Another thing is there are many questions that are not cause and effect questions, right? A lot of things are just what's and is's. Well, what's and is's can't enter the scientific method, right? So not everything is a cause and effect question. The only reason why we stress it, like Nathan was saying, is from the beginning. They have said, they being the ball-tard spinning space monkeys, that science says. We have scientific evidence. If you believe in the flat earth, then you must disregard physics and science altogether, right? Well, that's not true. That's what we're trying to expose. So they don't have science to grease their skids for their just so story because it doesn't work. So all they have is a just so story that they conveniently ascribe some support to science when it's not there. It's a phantom. There's not only no clothes on the emperor, there is no emperor. That's what it is. Thanks.
And with that, I'll say if you're watching this on the Nathan Oakley 1980 premiering stream, then stay tuned, as there will be an after show to follow. However, if you're watching this live on Nathan Oakley, unfortunately, this is where we bid you farewell. A massive, huge, enormous thank you to all of you who did tune in live. And, of course, a massive thank you to all of today's debating panel for making this debate possible. If you need to keep yourself occupied after this live stream is over, then go to nathanoakley.com and check out the Flat Earth Debate Forum to keep up to date with the community debate. Once again, stay tuned if you're watching on Nathan Oakley 1980. I've been Nathan Oakley, and I'll see you all in the next video.
Oh, what a day! What a lovely day!